Today on Locked On Rockies, rolling out the red carpet for the Cardinals.
You are Locked On Rockies, your daily Colorado Rockies podcast. Part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
Rock on Rockies fans, welcome into the Locked On Rockies podcast for today, your daily Colorado Rockies podcast where we break down all things Colorado Rockies baseball right here on the Locked On Podcast Network. Proud to be your first listen of the day. We are free and streaming on your favorite streaming service. All you got to do is search Locked On Rockies. You're going to be taken to where you need to go. And if you want to join the show live and get into the live chat, well, all you got to do, hop on in and click that subscribe button on the YouTube channel, and you're going to know when we go live, and you can pop into the live chat and jump in there and ask your Rockies questions as we continue to navigate this season together. Who am I? Well, I'm your Rockies fan extraordinaire, Paul Holden, and I've been following this team my entire life, bringing you your daily Colorado Rockies podcast now for a couple years here as we navigate this season, and we've come to an interesting point in the season. There's a lot of questions and there's a lot of things, and maybe we're diving too deep into the weeds here, but we talked a little bit about this yesterday, and the more I thought about it, the more I was kind of pondering it. I thought it was at least good enough to talk about today. The Rockies are welcoming the Cardinals in for a series, usually something not that big of a deal, but obviously that's changed in the past couple of years. Last year, the emotions were high with Nolan being gone and the first returns and things of that nature. And I'd say that wound still very much fresh for a lot of Rockies fans. And then we see the Rockies come out, and there's nothing really wrong with it. They're celebrating. They want to announce to fans that they're celebrating the careers of two of baseball's greats. And let's be completely and 100% honest. Two players that deserve to be honored by most of baseball and deserve to have their little farewell tour thing. However, I haven't quite seen as many teams, and I don't follow a lot of teams. I haven't seen a lot. Of course, we were treated with the Derek Jeter thing. It was there all the time. I've seen some people go out there and say some things. But for the Rockies to make a social media post to kind of lean in to the fact that they have a lot of people that aren't from Colorado that come to the ballpark, and especially St. Louis being a big place where people come from, whether it be they living in Colorado now or traveling for games in Coors Field. And there's something about posting and doing a big celebration for the Cardinals that doesn't sit right with me. The Cardinals are a team that are fighting for, not only fighting for a playoff spot, but fighting for a division title. They have the Rockies traded away what could potentially be the MVP of the year this year, and he's coming into play against the Rockies. Yadier Molina and Albert Pujols deserve to be celebrated. Absolutely. Their contributions to the game are insurmountable. They're two players that will forever go down in history as some of the best to ever do it. But for Rockies fans, for Rockies fans and for fans that are frustrated to see the team wanting to celebrate and focus on a team that they know they've had a history of franchise-changing trades to kind of boost the trumpets, to roll out the red carpet, and to say, arrive early. The Rockies will honor the amazing careers of Yadier Molina and Albert Pujols in what will be their final time visiting Coors Field. And that's going on tonight as they are getting ready for that. And again, it's nice. It's classy. Sure, it is that. But for Rockies fans, the tone is interesting. It's another example this year of the Rockies catering to the stadium experience, to the baseball experience, to the come to Coors Field and catch a baseball game experience. Doesn't matter who's playing, your favorite team is taking on the Rockies. And some people I've talked to kind of echo this. It's the Rockies don't seem to operate like other baseball teams. The Rockies are perfectly fine with being a home stadium away from home for many teams. And it's not just the NL West. Tell me how much red you're going to see this weekend compared to how much purple you're going to see this weekend. Tell me how loud Coors Field is going to be when the Cardinals are successful versus when the Rockies are successful. It's very clear that no other teams in baseball have the ginormous disparate. I would say maybe there's a couple. Some American League teams over there. Maybe, before they went hot, the Orioles might be an exception. Not as many teams, or any teams, deal with the fact that home games are most of the time dominated by away fans. There is more blue in the stadium than purple when the Dodgers come into town. I'm very confident that there will be more red than purple when the series starts, especially when the Rockies go out and tell everyone that they're doing a celebration. That's going to make all the people in Colorado or around there that are Cardinals fans want to come. Yes, that's good. That's nice. But it also is highlighted by the fact of the franchise player you traded away is sitting over there celebrating with his teammates in first place in the division. And you're boasting and bringing in these people of this franchise that you have made trades that has really irked and drawn the ire of a lot of Rockies fans. And then you're expecting them to just come and celebrate this weekend as the Rockies are in last place in the NL West, well below 500, and could use someone like Nolan Arenado on their team. I don't necessarily know if tone deaf is the appropriate response there, because maybe I'm looking too far into this. Maybe my feelings are too hurt and I'm too emotional and yada, yada, yada as a Rockies fan. But the Rockies I don't remember posts about other teams. There's other players that are retiring. There's other players that are coming in and doing their final thing. Why aren't they getting at least a social media post? Why are the Rockies so willing to go out and highlight and hype up Cardinals stuff? Why are the Rockies so much in bed with the St. Louis Cardinals? Their biggest trades have been with them. I mean, the biggest trades in franchise history have all been connected to the Cardinals outside of the Tulo deal, which is the only other team the Rockies trade with up in Toronto. I want to celebrate the careers. Albert Pujols and Yadier Molina deserve to be cheered and celebrated. But Rockies fans now have to celebrate other players at the expense of their fandom. Again, the Rockies have to watch their franchise player. It doesn't matter for some of you, sure. But for me, that jersey right there, oh, you don't see it, has a 28 on the back of it. Every single time the Rockies play the Cardinals, I will be upset. I will be upset. Every single time Nolan Arenado does something cool for the Cardinals, especially against the Rockies, I'm a little upset, especially against the Rockies. And then to just sit here and have a team that doesn't want to do stuff for itself, for its fans, and wants to celebrate the team that takes the best players from the Rockies, that has taken some two franchise legends. Yes, I know that the holiday trade is how Cargo got here and others. Yes, but it doesn't matter. Every time the Rockies want to hype up or be pro St. Louis, I am going to be upset, because for me, it's tone deaf from the Rockies' perspective to sit there and say, let's do a social media post, really let people know that we are doing something for Albert and Yachty. You know what you could have done? Could have just done that in pregame. Could have just done it. You didn't need it. Everyone knows People who follow baseball know that this is Yadier Molina and Albert Pujols' last time coming to Coors Field. So why hype this up? Why hype it up anymore outside of the people that need to know? Do you really need to let the fans know you're having a big party for the Cardinals? I don't think so. I don't think so at all. Let's keep discussing this. And if you're in the live chat, let me know. And if you're in the comments, maybe I'm diving too much into the weeds. Maybe my Rockies frustration is getting too much. But there's something about this that I just don't like. I just don't think that this is what Rockies fans want to hear right now. But folks, if you are looking for great snacking news, well, guess what? I got the good news for you. If you haven't tried Built Bar Puffs yet, you are depriving yourself of one of life's greatest joys. And guess what? There's a new flavor. Ready? Delicious, indulgent cookie dough covered in chocolate. That's right. Built has done it again. Let me introduce you to new favorites. The cookie dough chunk puff. Yes, that's right. You heard me, folks. Cookie dough chunk puff have a light and chewy texture, real cookie dough chunks, and of course, they're covered in 100% real chocolate. All the joys of eating cookie dough without the hassle of making it, plus it's healthy for you. Cookie dough chunk puffs are only 160 calories, and they have a whopping 15 grams of protein in them. Run to Built.com to snag a box for you and the family. It will be the perfect treat. Or you can find a really good hiding place and just hoard them for yourself. Like all Built bars, the new cookie dough chunk puff is covered in 100% real chocolate. That means they're healthy and tasty. Chocolate-covered cookie dough with a light, fluffy texture. So good. You're going to love the new cookie dough chunk puff, whether you need a snack for your workout, a late night treat, or just need to grab a quick bite. Built is the perfect protein bar, and they taste better than a candy bar. Ditch the calories, fat, and sugar. Grab yourself a Built bar. Go to Built.com, use promo code LOCK15 and get 15% off your order. That's promo code LOCK15 for 15% off your order at Built.com. Promo code LOCK15, get 15% off your order at Built.com. So we've been talking about the Rockies rolling out the red carpet for Yadier Molina and Albert Pujols. It's interesting. Maybe it's something that I was diving in. Maybe I'm being a little too emotional. And Nicholas here in the chat says, it's not too much. It's okay to be pissed with this team. They are betraying their fans. It's okay to celebrate good players, but why not hype up our own players more? And that is the good question. I mean, it's why do we need to take the time and the energy to boast up and build up these players? And let's be real, like, the Rockies and the Cardinals, other than trades and stuff, it's not like they play every year, sure, or something like that, but it's like a 6-game set. Just because it's St. Louis and they got their names and all this blah, 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 blah. Would you have made the same? I am curious. Would you have made the same post if it was just Albert Pujols or just Yadier Molina? Would you make the same big deal if Pujols doesn't end up back over in St. Louis? Is it because you have the combo of the two? Is it, and that's because it's worth doing that? But have other teams done this? I don't know. Maybe people can point me in the right direction. Have other teams said they're celebrating Albert Pujols and Yadier Molina? Have other teams posted? And folks, this is from August 5th. This is days in advance. Other games were being played. The Rockies were still playing a series when this post was made. This is a complete attempt to get as many St. Louis fans into Coors Field this weekend as possible. If you are in the Denver metro area and you are from the St. Louis area and you want to watch your Cardinals, that's what they're trying to do. At the end of the day, they aren't trying to just celebrate Yachty and Albert because it's the good thing to do. No, the Rockies are hyping it up so they can do what they love to do. Boom, boom, boom. Money, 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 money. The Rockies are a 5th place team in the division, and they're about to have a sold-out weekend. I don't know if they're actually going to have a sold-out weekend. It's also not the weekend. It's Tuesday. But that's what I mean. The priorities and the mindset and the philosophy of the Rockies is not really about the Rockies right now. And yes, this is just it's a Facebook post. It's a Twitter post. People do this all the time. But think about it. What other team would announce the celebration of other players coming in 4 days before the series starts? Over the weekend set. Little Monday off day. I'm surprised you didn't repost it and say, hey, come on down. Guess who else is going to be here? That Nolan guy. You like that guy. He was fun, right? He's an MVP. You know that guy is going to be an MVP? Ah, bummer. If only we had him for 8 years of team control with a contract already dead set in stone and ready to rock. That would have been cool. That's how it feels. Right now, as a Rockies fan, especially with inactions at the trade deadline, with doubling down on a team that's underperforming, how else are you supposed to feel? Is this supposed to be something that's going to make you all excited to go to the ballpark this weekend? You, Rockies fans. I'm talking to you, the Rockies fans. Does a celebration of Albert Pujols and Yadier Molina make you go, yeah, got to be there? I'm glad I knew 4 days ahead of time. I don't think so. Because for this Rockies fan, it's a reminder that the Rockies care about other teams more than they care about themselves. It's the fact that the Rockies are perfectly fine with Coors Field continuing to be the destination place for baseball, not for successful Rockies baseball, but for you to come into town, or if you've moved to Denver like we know so many people have had, and guess what? Home is back. You got all your buddies, got all your St. Louis fans, got all your Dodgers fans, you got all your Padres fans, you got all your fans hanging out with you. It's just like home. Just like home. Come on down. Rockies, don't worry about them. We're celebrating Yachty and Albert. That's the big deal today. Yachty and Albert. Not our team. We don't care. It's a home team in Colorado. And guess what? You're going to be treated to all-star MVP third base play from the Cardinals. Look at that. That's what it feels like, how the Rockies front office talks to us as Rockies fans, especially in situations like this, in seasons like this. If it was me, I would honor Albert Pujols and Yadier Molina. But you know how I would do it? I would do it in a video ceremony right before the game starts. That's what I'd do. And then I'd maybe bring him out and give him a handshake. Maybe a bat. Maybe a Coors Field, a Colorado-style bat. Something like that. What I wouldn't do is I wouldn't post about it on social media while another series is going on, hyping up to tell Cardinals fans to come take over Coors Field. Because boy, howdy, nothing that I love more than a Rockies fan than hearing Coors Field packed to the brim with fans that aren't Rockies fans, continuing to play right into Monford's goals and ideas and handbook where he can make money and dominate the game of attendance because his ballpark is so good that he can bring in anybody and everybody to watch the game. But he can't bring in anybody or everybody. Can't spend any money on the actual team. The financials of the team, this top 5 attendance team, oh, no. Can't do anything to make the team better. But of course, we already got a playoff rotation, and our guys just need to perform a little bit better. I wouldn't be this focused on this thing, and I wouldn't be doing a whole podcast dedicated to it if it just isn't another piece of the frustration puzzle. And it is something silly to occupy my time thinking about. It's just celebrate. It's one game too. But it's the Cardinals. The wound is still deep and fresh for a lot of people. There's a lot of people that still are upset by the trade. I know Rockies fans don't want to believe that. I know the Rockies fans that some Rockies fans don't want to spend any more time on this. But when Nolan Arenado is a good chance at least a top 3 MVP candidate, and you boast up and you want to celebrate other teams while that team is in the first place in the division and your team is in the NL West basement doing nothing, literally have not done nothing from the front office perspective other than doubling down on people that aren't performing enough for you to really express the level of confidence that you have, just makes me boil. Cardinal stuff and any Cardinal stuff makes me boil. I don't want to see the Rockies hyping up Cardinals stuff ever. Ever. I do not want to see it. It is not a good time for me as a Rockies fan. It is not a good time to see hunky-dory handshake, fun stuff with the Cardinals. I'm sorry. It's just simply not. Okay. I got enough of that, I think. I think I've said what I need to say. Let me know if I've gone too far. Let me know if I'm going too crazy. But before we dive into actually talking about the matchup tonight, let me tell you a little bit about betonline.net, where you can get in on the action tonight. It's if you want to get in on what Nolan might do against the Rockies, what the Rockies might do against the Cardinals, well, betonline.net is the fastest and easiest way to check in on all your betting needs. Find all your favorite sports and events at the #1 online source for odds, lines, and games. Find reviews and news of every league, including Major League Baseball, the NFL, NBA, NHL, combat sports, esports. Yes, I said esports, and even golf. BetOnline. That's betonline.net continues to be the top online resource for all your sports wagering information, from live in-game betting. That's kind of my favorite thing to do, especially baseball, as you're seeing as the game goes along. Scores and podcasts, they have you covered. Head to BetOnline today or use your mobile device to learn more about the action happening today. BetOnline, where the game starts. The Rockies take on the Cardinals tonight as the 60-48 Cardinals visiting the 48-63 Colorado Rockies. It's going to be an interesting night, as we said. The Rockies are celebrating their the big players, and the Rockies turn to Ryan Feltner on the bump here, looking to maybe get one of those solid starts for him, as he's got in his 4 starts so far, 1-3 ERA, or 1-3 record, 5.75 ERA, 38 Ks though. We like that. A good amount of strikeouts here for Feltner in his last couple of appearances here. He's gotten in 40 innings. He's gotten 38 strikeouts, so almost a strikeout per inning. You'll take that. The ERA a little bit high there, but the lines haven't been too bad in the last 2 starts. That Minnesota game was a bit tough there, and he hasn't necessarily really started or gone that far in terms of games. He hasn't gone more than 4 innings in his last 3 games, which is most of his appearances here for the Rockies. Be curious what they do with Feltner here. Again, it's good that they're getting the 25-year-old time on the bump. This is the type of pitcher. Feltner is the type of pitcher you want to turn to and use in situations like this. Let him go out, get some ABs, get some pitches there. And again, I'm encouraged by them strikeout numbers. 38 strikeouts in 40 innings pitched, 44 strikeouts on the season here in 47 innings pitched there. The whip is pretty high. Walks, he's had a couple. He had a walk against San Diego, 2 walks against the Dodgers, and a walk against Minnesota in his past 3 starts there. A lot of hits. People have been able to give up some hits. He held the Dodgers in check pretty well there with only the 3 hits in that game. But both San Diego and Minnesota able to tag Feltner for 8 hits in about 3 innings and some change. So something to watch there. Feltner, kind of the Rocky to watch tonight, how that start goes for him. And again, that's stacked St. Louis lineup, headlined by Miles Mikolas, who is 8-8, 2.92 ERA with 106 strikeouts. Not a ton of experience for the Rockies going up against Miles here. And Charlie Blackmon leading the way with 12 at-bats, and Ryan McMahon, 2 people that have seen him. But CJ Cron, Connor Joe, Elehuris Montero, Brandon Rogers, and Brian Serven all no at-bats against Mikolas there. Mikolas, I think, is how you pronounce his name. That includes, I think I said Cron in that as well. Jonathan Daza, 0 for 2. Elias Diaz, 0 for 7. Garrett Hampson, 1 for 2 against him. And Jose Iglesias has 9 at-bats with a couple of hits, batting .333 there. So not a ton of experience. The Rockies haven't seen a lot from this pitcher, at least in terms of bats. And so we'll see how that impacts the club tonight. And we got a 6:40 first pitch here at Coors Field. Folks, that's going to do it for today's episode of Locked On Rockies. Thank you so much for joining us. And go out and at least, if you're heading out to the ballpark this weekend, enjoy it. Or this week. I don't know why I got weekend on the brain. I want it to be the weekend already. But folks, enjoy some Rockies baseball this week. We'll be breaking it all down right here on the Locked On Rockies podcast. You You can follow me at Paul Holden 33. You can also follow the show on Twitter at Locked On Rock, actually LO Rockies, sorry. And make sure you hit subscribe, pop in the live chat, just like Nicholas did there. And folks, yeah, make sure you're hitting that subscribe. Follow us on Twitter so you can stay up to date with all things the show. And until next time, I'm Paul Holden saying so long from the Locked On Rockies podcast.